Welcome to the brief introduction to the School Counselor's Code of Ethics for teachers and school staff. Today we'll present the Code of Ethics. We'll talk about some ethical standards. We'll talk about some school counselor responsibilities. And we'll discuss what happens when we have ethical dilemmas. The School Counselor's Code of Ethics was put together by the Association of School Counselors. The school counselors have unique qualifications and skills to address pre-K-12 students' academic, career, and social-emotional development needs. These standards are the ethical responsibility of all school counseling professionals. Here's a list of the standards. A. Dealing with the responsibility to students. B. Deals with responsibilities to parent, guardians, school, and self. C. Deals with the school counselor administrators and supervisors. D. Deals with the school counseling intern-site supervision. E. Deals with the maintenance of the standards. And F. Deals with ethical decision-making. As far as the responsibility to the students, our main goal is to support the student development. And as school counselors, we have a primary obligation to the students who are to be treated with dignity and respect as unique individuals. We acknowledge the vital role of parents, guardians, and families, and we provide effective responsive interventions to address the student needs. As far as the responsibility to students, the issue of confidentiality is one of the major challenges. As school counselors, we promote awareness of ethical standards and legal mandates regarding confidentiality. We keep information confidential unless legal requirements demand that confidential information be revealed or a breach is required to prevent serious and foreseeable harm to the student. Recognize the primary ethical obligation for confidentiality is to the students, but balance that obligation with an understanding of parent, guardian, legal, and inherent rights. So as you can see, our major ethical obligation is to the student regarding confidentiality, but we need to balance that with the legal rights of parent guardians for minors. And confidentiality will only be breached in extreme circumstances. As far as the responsibility to students go, we also have the responsibility to create a comprehensive data-informed program. So school counselors collaborate with administration, teachers, staff, and decision makers around school improvement goals, and use data to determine needed interventions to help close the information, attainment, achievement, and opportunity gaps. We also have to deal with academic, career, and social-emotional plans, and as school counselors, we provide and advocate for individual students' college and career awareness, exploration and post-secondary planning, and decision-making. As far as our responsibility to students, we also prevent dual relationships from happening, and we manage boundaries. We also do appropriate referrals and advocacy, and as school counselors provide lists of resources for outside agencies and resources in the community to students and parents, guardians, when students need or request additional support. We might also be planning group work and facilitating student peer support programs. And the list goes on and on. For instance, we need to deal with serious and foreseeable harm to self and others, and as school counselors, we inform parent, guardians, and or appropriate authorities when a student poses a serious and foreseeable risk of harm to self or others. We also make sure that we are dealing with all the aspects of the underserved and at-risk populations, also dealing with issues of bullying, harassment, and child abuse. This is really big nowadays. As far as student records, school counselors abide by the Family Education Right and Privacy Act, better known as FERPA, which defines who has access to the students' educational records. We also deal with evaluation, assessment, and interpretation, as well as show technical and digital citizenship, and sometimes handle virtual distance school counseling. So I'm done with the responsibility to the students. Let me show you some responsibilities of counselors to parents, guardians, and the staff. As far as responsibilities to parents, guardians, school counselors recognize that providing services to minors requires school counselors to collaborate with students, parents, guardians. As counselors, we adhere to laws, local guidelines, and ethical practice when assisting parents, guardians experiencing family difficulties interfering with the students' welfare. As far as responsibilities to the school go, We develop and maintain professional relationships and systems of communication with faculty, staff, and administrators. We design and deliver comprehensive school counseling programs driven by student data, based on standards for academic, career, and social emotional development, and promote and enhance the learning process for all students. We also collaborate as needed with other professionals such as special educators, school nurses, school social workers, and so on. As far as responsibilities to the self, school counselors monitor their own emotional and physical health and practice wellness to ensure optimal professional effectiveness. We also refrain from refusing services to students based solely on the school counselor's personal health beliefs or values. School counselors respect the diversity of students and seek training and supervision when prejudice and biases interfere with providing comprehensive services to all students. Among other standards, those dealing with the school counselor administrators and supervisors, those dealing with the school counseling intern-site supervisors, and those dealing with the maintenance of the standards. I want to focus on the standards dealing with ethical decision-making. When faced with the ethical dilemma, school counselors use the ethical decision-making models such as solutions to ethical problems in schools, steps that was suggested by Stone in 2001. First and foremost, we need to define the problem emotionally and intellectually. Then we should follow these steps. Number 1, apply the ASCA ethical standards for school counselors and the law. Number 2, we should consider the students' chronological and developmental levels. Number 3, we should consider the setting, parental rights, and minors' rights. Number 4, we should apply the ethical principles of beneficence, autonomy, non-maleficence, loyalty, and justice. Number 5, we should determine potential courses of actions and their consequences. And number 6, evaluate the selection action. If still in doubt, we should consult with other professionals. And finally, we should implement a course of action. I hope I have accomplished the objectives I have proposed today. And we have an overview of the Code of Ethics. We have seen some ethical standards. I have described some counselor responsibilities to students, parents, and school. And I have described a model to make ethical decisions when presented with an ethical dilemma. Thank you for your attention, and you can find more information about the ethical code in this website. Thank you.